What is your favorite video game? Now, I want you to really think about this, and please do remember, there are no wrong answers. So go ahead and give it some time to think about it. Think, like, what's the best gameplay, story, anything that you want. Now, maybe you thought Skyrim, perhaps GTA, or maybe you picked a wild card and said, hey, I really like Bubsy 3D. Well, regardless of what you said, to answer my own question, personally, it's Portal 2. Now, I'm not saying Portal 2 is the best game of all time, as I feel the title of that should really go to something more important. But in terms of what game I've enjoyed the most, there's really no competition. I've played Portal 2 since I was, I want to say, like 11 or 12, and I've loved it since then. Everything about it is great. The characters, the plot, the music, it all adds up into a perfect experience of gameplay, and that's what I'm here to talk about. So, without further ado, let us get into Portal 2. Released in 2011 by Valve, Portal 2 is the sequel to 2007's Portal. Pretty obviously. The game was an immediate success and won several awards, including the Golden Joystick Game of the Year in 2011. Needless to say, people loved it so much that a sequel was never made. Valve, why? Either way, it focused on expanding the gameplay, characters, and plot of the original Portal, which it succeeded, and in fact, it completely overshadowed the original. Now, I'm gonna be honest, that's kind of a shame to some extent, because the original Portal is still a great game, but no one really ever talks about it anymore. And I think a large part of that becomes because Portal 2 is so much better at literally everything it does. And with that said, let's kind of go over that. Let's talk about what makes Portal 2 such a great game. Portal 2 extends the concepts used in Portal 1. The momentum is used way more frequently and has added creativity due to the new gels added. And perhaps most excitingly, the aerial faith plates, which make you, well, as Glados puts it,
look at you, sailing through the air majestically, like an eagle, piloting a blimp.
Oh, and there's the light bridge too. Yeah, they had quite a bit of new mechanics. And as for the movement, it feels as good as ever. It really does help how natural the movement feels when you have to use momentum to go from one portal through another and time a landing. All of this builds into a prime example of perfect gameplay. Every test feels rewarding because of how they increase the difficulty as you go. It doesn't really ever get too hard, but the difficulty curve does make the game satisfying as heck to beat. There are not really any tests that made me want to pull my hair out, but that does also lead to my only gripe. Portal 2 is really easy, which is a double-edged sword. I am really bad at games, so an easier game does mean I can beat it in decent time, but it ultimately feels less rewarding than, well, say like beating Undyne the Undying. Let me put it this way. In Half-Life 2, another game made by Valve, there were moments that were difficult enough that they upset me. I got mad while playing it. But once I beat it, it felt more rewarding than just beating Portal 2, which is a lot easier. Now, with that said, it still does feel satisfying, mostly due to the plot, which is going to be part 2 of this review. The plot of Portal 2 it's perfect. It's the perfect blend of comedy and drama, and it really shows. I mean, just think about how many quotes the internet remembers on this thing.
I've been really busy being dead after you murdered me.
Do you know who I am? I'm the man who's gonna burn your house down with the lemon.
They told me that if I ever turned this flashlight on, I would die.
Honestly, it's some of the smartest writing I've seen in a video game, and I'll be honest with you, the plot is fairly simple. It basically goes down to 4 simple plot beats. The first plot beat is basically a prologue, leading up to Glados' reawakening. The second one is escaping with Wheatley, and this leads up to Wheatley's betrayal. Third is the trek through dilapidated Aperture, and the final one is testing in Wheatley laboratories. Overall, it's a pretty solid yet simple story, but there are 2 specific scenes that I do want to get deeper into. The first being Glados' awakening, and the second being Wheatley's betrayal.
Oh, It's you.
You know her?
This is probably the most notable scene in Portal 2, and that's for good reason. Glados is probably my favorite character, and she just really shines here. They nailed her sarcasm about, well, you killing her.
Really busy being dead. You know, after you murdered me.
You know what, Glados? How about you do me a solid and we just forget that little one detail, water under the bridge. We can move on with our lives.
We can put our differences behind us.
Oh, good. I'm glad we agree. No, excuse me, I'll be on my way.
For science, you monster.
Oof, well, Glados, that's not exactly what I meant when, I said I'm willing to put this behind us. I meant, I was willing to, not talk to you again. Yeah. So, I love this scene. Its humor and drama are perfectly balanced. Wait, hold up.
Perfectly balanced as all things should be.
Anyway, let's talk Wheatley's betrayal. This is honestly probably my favorite moment in the game, largely because it starts the Potatoes arc, which is really funny.
See that? That is a potato battery. It's a toy for children. And now she lives in it.
You see, it's funny because potato is a funny word, and she's in a potato. That right there is what we call a knee slapper. The reason this twist works so well is because it doesn't feel like something Wheatley would normally do. And really, it isn't something Wheatley would normally do. We find out later that there is some kind of programming within Glados' body that actually corrupts the core into wanting to test. Oh, also, I do really love the lighting change as Wheatley turns.
Actually, why do we have to leave right now?
No, up, Wheatley. I want up. I guess it's fine. As long as no one upsets him.
You didn't do anything. She did all the work.
Glados, no.
Oh, really? That's what the two of you think, is it?
No. I don't think that. Only she does. We are a team, Wheatley. I carry you and solve the test, and you say the funny words and hack the stuff. It's a team effort. We're a team. Okay. Now on to the best part of Portal 2. The characters. Now, every character in Portal 2 is great. So for simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna go over all of them and why I think they're great. And by all of them, I mean the main character. Okay. Now on to the best part of Portal 2. The characters. Now, every character in Portal 2 is great. So for simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna go over all of them and why I think they're great. And by all of them, I mean the main characters. Turrets, sorry, you don't count. Let's start with Glados, who, as I mentioned before, is my favorite character. She starts off as a snarky, yet intelligent AI in charge of Aperture. However, after Wheatley's betrayal, you begin to learn more about her. To start, before she was Glados, she was Carolyn. Carolyn was an assistant to Invader and head of Aperture Science, Cave Jonson. While we do not know too much about her, we do know that she loved science and was somewhat snarky.
Goodbye, Carolyn.
Goodbye, Carolyn.
She is a gem.
After returning to help you defeat Wheatley, she lets Chell go because, well, as she puts it,
The best solution to a problem is usually the easiest one. And I'll be honest, killing you is hard.
Throughout the game, her character gets molded naturally by the plot, ultimately reaching forgiveness. Her arc is the most dynamic, which is why I rate her the highest. However, Wheatley really is not all that behind. Wheatley begins as a helpful, albeit kinda dim little robot that gets you out of your bed and into the testing area. His goal from the beginning is to help in your escape and escape with you. Alright, and before you mention it, I do know that he claims otherwise in some dialogue in his boss fight, but when you look at him in Control before he got corrupted, you can see that he does actually want to go with you.
How am I gonna get in? You know, being bloody massive and everything.
However, after he gets corrupted, he becomes extremely irritable, getting upset by the same insult over and over and over. And because he keeps getting called a moron, he begins doing things so that he can try to appear smart.
Now he's playing classical music.
Oh, sorry. I hope that didn't disturb you too much then. It was the sound of books, pages being turned. So
Ultimately, he just becomes that guy on the internet. You know the one. The guy who acts like he's so smart when he really doesn't know what he's talking about. But he still gets on you like you're the idiot, even though he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's just... I digress. He ultimately is defeated. And how do you defeat him? Why, you send him straight to the moon.
Let go! We're in space!
Well, to be fair, he did give me the idea.
Brilliant, yeah. Take one more look at your precious human moon, because it cannot help you now.
Okay. So, yeah. He is defeated, but he gets an end credit scene where he apologizes.
I wish I could take it all back. I honestly do. I honestly do wish I could take it all back.
Finally, we have Cave Jonson, played by J. Jonah Jameson himself.
Who is Spider-Man? He's a criminal, that's who he is. A vigilante, a public menace. What's he doing on my front page?
Cave Jonson is the founder of Aperture, who we only hear through pre-recorded messages. He is innovative, somewhat snarky, and maybe a bit out there.
Repulsion gel, here's some advice the lab boys gave me. Do not get covered in the repulsion gel. We haven't entirely nailed down what element it is yet, but I'll tell you this, it's a lively one, and it does not like the human skeleton.
He also delivers the greatest TED Talk of all time, without question.
Alright, I've been thinking. When life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Make life take the lemons back. Get mad! I don't want you...
Overall, he's pretty great. However, he falls to 3rd out of 4 for me, simply because he does not have as much time or as dynamic of a character arc as the other two. The final character is Jell, the main character, who has no personality because she is a silent protagonist that is meant to be somewhat of a self-insert. So yeah, let's go to the next part. The music is great, but there isn't really a whole lot to talk about there. I mean, I don't really know how to explain good music as well as some other things. I mean, I can explain bad music when it just sounds bad, but how do you say, oh, the music does its job? That's like just saying, the music does its job. Now, I know there's ways of explaining it, but I'm not a music expert, so I'm gonna leave it at that. The music is great, you should go listen to it. Alright, I've pretty much said everything I want to say, but I do have one last thing, and don't worry, it's real quick, and just something I want to mention in conclusion. With Valve getting back into making games with Half-Life Alyx, I really hope we get something similar for Portal. Or heck, at the very least, I'll take an update for TF2. Valve, please!